move out of the way.
Miss, please save me.
I pretended to be anxious and made a move to rush over. But the next second, she was hit and thrown 10 meters away. I withdrew my foot expressionlessly, listening to the people around shouting.
Call 911.
It's bad, she's not breathing.
Just as someone was panicking and shouting that Gertrude had been hit, I was violently pushed to the ground.
You wretch, you caused my mother harm.
The woman, in a breakdown, hit me repeatedly with her bag.
You murderer, give me back my mother. Why didn't you save her? Why didn't you just, it's all your fault, all your fault.
I acted as if I was scared stiff, neither fighting back nor protecting myself. People around pulled her back, advising.
Calm down. Are you the victim's family? This has nothing to do with her. She wasn't the one who hit her.
Exactly. Blame the right person. Find the one who hit her. Why take it out on a passerby?
The woman, furious, looked at them and shouted.
You know nothing, she did it on purpose, my mother suffered because of her.
Despite her bulging veins and angry face, I recognized her. Robert's mistress, Jessica. I had only seen her once, in my previous life, when I was hit and killed on the spot trying to help Gertrude. After my demise, my spirit was trapped by a force and could only follow her. That's when I found out Robert had a mistress, and this incident was deliberately planned by Jessica and her mother to give her a legitimate status. Although my businessman husband didn't participate in the planning, he knew about it after my passing and only shed a few fake tears. Then he took all the compensation money and used my heroic act to build a loving persona for himself, and his company soon went public. Later, the mistress successfully became a civil servant and they lived happily together. I watched them enjoy the fruits of my sacrifice with hatred, wanting to strangle them. But a white light engulfed me. When I opened my eyes again, I was back before the incident, once again seeing Jessica's mother asking for my help. This time, I wanted to see them reap what they sowed. Sure enough, my fake move successfully deceived Jessica's mother. I watched her expression change from smugness to terror, feeling a sense of satisfaction. Just as she was about to act, the police arrived in time and apprehended her. A female officer helped me up with a sympathetic look.
Are you okay? Do you feel unwell?
Dizzy and nauseous, I need to go to the hospital.
The ambulance took Jessica's mother away. The police took Jessica and me to the hospital. The doctor asked how I felt.
How are you feeling?
Dizzy, nauseous, everything hurts, I can't take it.
Anything else?
I paused for 2 minutes, then looked at him confusedly.
Huh? What did you say? Ugh.
Go get a CT scan.
I need to throw up first.
In the restroom, I locked the stall and started gagging myself and spinning around. Finally, the doctor wrote on my medical record that I had a suspected brainstem injury. Brainstem injuries can be life-threatening, so Jessica was arrested on the spot, and only my agreement to reconcile would release her. Jessica struggled desperately.
She's faking it, can't you see that?
Jessica, watch your language. You assaulted someone without reason, which is illegal.
Can I at least go back to handle my mother's funeral? I'll deal with this afterward.
The police hesitated. Legally, it wasn't allowed, but there was room for compassion. I looked up with tear-filled eyes.
What if she runs away? What if she comes back and harms me? I'm scared, and doesn't she have other family members?
Trembling all over, filled with resistance, the police had no choice but to take Jessica away. When no one was looking, I gave her a bright smile.
You wretch. You wretch. You'll get what's coming to you.
I ignored her curses, wanting her to remember the pain of not seeing her loved one for the last time. Robert came to the hospital to pick me up, repeatedly wanting to speak but holding back. I pretended not to notice. Finally, he couldn't hold it in.
Emily, won't you reconcile with her? Her mother passed. She's already pitiful.
And I'm not pitiful for being beaten for no reason. Whose husband are you? Anyone would think it was your mother who passed.
Emily, how can you say that? My mother treats you so well, and you curse her?
Well, what nonsense. I always thought I had a kind mother-in-law, but this kind mother-in-law laughed out loud after my passing, saying it served me right, and that my capable parents couldn't even ensure a proper funeral for me. Full of schadenfreude. I didn't want to pretend anymore, so I drove Robert away and stayed in the hospital for 3 days. 3 days later, when Jessica's mother was cremated, I went to the police station.
Jessica should compensate me with $50,000 for me to agree to reconcile, otherwise, she should stay locked up.
Jessica tried to bargain, but I immediately dry-heaved.
Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know if this money is enough for my recovery.
Seeing I was about to raise the price, Jessica quickly agreed. When the money arrived, I agreed to reconcile. Whether it was her money or Robert's didn't matter to me. Because even if it was Robert's, it was his private stash, an unexpected windfall for me. Before leaving, Jessica glared at me with hatred.
You'll pay for this.
The next day, Jessica released the car accident video and cried her heart out online.
I was just too sad at the time and accidentally hit her, but she faked illness and got me arrested, and I missed my mother's funeral. It's all my fault. Hit me, I won't fight back, but how can you be so cruel?
3 days later, when Jessica's mother was cremated, I went to the police station.
Jessica should compensate me with $50,000 for me to agree to reconcile, otherwise, she should stay locked up.
$50,000? That's absurd. How about $20,000?
Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know if this money is enough for my recovery.
Seeing I was about to raise the price, Jessica quickly agreed.
Fine, $50,000. Just release me.
When the money arrived, I agreed to reconcile. Whether it was her money or Robert's didn't matter to me. Because even if it was Robert's, it was his private stash, an unexpected windfall for me. Before leaving, Jessica glared at me with hatred.
You'll pay for this.
The next day, Jessica released the car accident video and cried her heart out online.
I was just too sad at the time and accidentally hit her, but she faked illness and got me arrested, and I missed my mother's funeral. It's all my fault. Hit me, I won't fight back, but how can you be so cruel?
The comments below changed from so cold-blooded, not helping at all. If she hadn't lifted her foot, the old lady would have left already, to wow, how much hatred does she have to prevent the daughter from attending the funeral? She just hit her a few times, is it really that serious? So dramatic. Isn't she afraid of karma? I wouldn't be surprised if she got hurt on the street. I looked at the screen full of curses, sneered, and posted the video I found, even paying to make it popular. The video was from a small influencer who had overheard Jessica and her mother's scheme and live-streamed it to gain attention. Although the conversation wasn't recorded, the live stream clearly showed that Jessica's mother had deliberately rushed in front of the car. The insults disappeared.
Well, this is hard to judge. After all, it's a different field.
Damn high-level scams are really life-threatening.
What does this have to do with the girl? You can't expect her to risk her life to save a scammer.
Netizens expressed their understanding. However, some still felt it was wrong of me not to let Jessica attend the funeral. But such comments were few, as most believed in karma. I sent a red envelope to the small influencer to express my gratitude. In my previous life, after I passed, I saw her live streaming in front of my body with an angry expression. So when I was hospitalized, I contacted her and successfully obtained the evidence. Seeing the public opinion turning against her, Jessica started attacking me.
This video is fake. They colluded. Her family is rich, so it's not impossible for them to alter the truth.
So those who resented the wealthy started to stir things up. I directly sent the video to the driver who had accidentally hit Jessica's mother. Netizens might not want to hear my truth, but they would listen to another victim. The driver released the video, verified by an authoritative institution, proving it hadn't been tampered with. The truth was revealed. It wasn't an accidental hit by the driver, but someone seeking their own demise. Originally, the driver would have had some responsibility, but Jessica blew things up. If compensation was given, it would mean condoning such scams. So Jessica couldn't get any compensation, meaning her mother's passing was in vain. When public opinion couldn't hurt me, Jessica started a psychological attack. She directly told me she was David's mistress and sent me numerous intimate photos daily. I quietly saved them but didn't respond. I couldn't waste her time, as I was waiting for her to take the civil service exam. Emily immediately stood up and searched the house thoroughly, finding a bunch of cameras. She took out her phone and called David directly.
David, are you out of your mind? Not only did you cheat, but you also secretly filmed me for your mistress. You are disgusting beyond words.
Emily, can you stop making a scene? Jessica's mother died because of you, and you took her first place. Do you know how heartbroken she is? Can you be a bit kinder?
Her mother didn't die because of me. Her mother couldn't bear to lose such a good son-in-law like you. I suggest you keep one eye open while you sleep at night, or she might come for you. Oh, by the way, I don't know how heartbroken she is, but she voluntarily sent me evidence of your affair. When I file for divorce and leave you with nothing, I'm sure you'll be very heartbroken.
After saying that, Emily hung up the phone and got a tattoo that night. She took a picture of the fresh tattoo and sent it to Jessica.
You little trash, this is what your ancestor looks like. Don't think you can impersonate me with some random video.
Fine, then I'll post it online.
As a law-abiding citizen, Emily had no choice but to call the police.
I want to report someone for distributing inappropriate videos.
So, Jessica and Emily met at the police station again. Since Jessica only sent the video to Emily and it didn't involve money, the police just warned her. When David came to bail her out, Jessica gave Emily a look and then twisted her waist and hugged his arm.
Honey, you came to get me. You have no idea how scared I was.
Why do you have to make such a fuss? If you just give her the spot back, everything will be fine.
Exactly. She doesn't care about you at all. Honey, you must be so tired. I'll give you a good massage when we get home.
The two of them exchanged sly glances in front of Emily, and she couldn't be bothered to listen to their nonsense.
You, slap her right now. If you don't, I'll go to the company tomorrow and cause a scene. We'll both go down together, and the company will go bankrupt. I don't care.
Jessica uneasily held David's hand.
Honey.
David hesitated for a moment, then slowly withdrew his hand and slapped her. Jessica was stunned, but David didn't stop. He kept slapping her face until it was swollen and red. Then he looked at Emily coldly.
Satisfied?
Very satisfied. Wait for me to file for divorce.
That's impossible.
Emily ignored him and turned to leave. The next day, while at work, a colleague called out to her.
Emily, your mother-in-law is here.
Seeing her uneasy expression, Emily's heart sank. As soon as she went downstairs, she heard Margaret's wailing.
My daughter-in-law became a civil servant and doesn't acknowledge me as her mother-in-law anymore. She wants to divorce my son. Who seduced my daughter-in-law? Stand up! I beg you, give my daughter-in-law back to my son. Our family can't lose her.
Emily tried to pull her up, but Margaret shouted loudly.
Which leader did you fancy? I'll kneel and kowtow to him if that's what it takes.
Colleagues pointed and whispered, looking at Emily with disdain. The boss came out upon hearing the commotion.
Emily, don't bring your family issues to work.
Seeing this, Emily let go of Margaret's arm and spoke clearly.
Since you're not afraid of airing your dirty laundry, neither am I. This is my mother-in-law. Before her son married me, he had nothing. The wedding house, car, and the startup company were all paid for by my parents. All they could do was shamelessly take advantage. Do you all remember the car accident video from a while ago? The woman crying in the video is my husband's mistress. Her mother wasn't trying to scam the driver, she wanted to get rid of me, the legitimate wife, to take my place, but karma got her.
I continued.
I didn't get my civil servant job because of some leader, it was because the organization received evidence of the mistress from me. Just yesterday, I informed my husband about the divorce. He was afraid I'd take half of the assets, so he had my mother-in-law cause trouble. He thought I wouldn't give up my job, but now I think being a full-time housewife sounds pretty good.
I looked at Margaret and smiled.
Your son acts like a lackey outside, while I enjoy a comfortable life at home. Don't worry, I'm not getting a divorce.
Margaret's face turned red with anger.
Why should my son support you? He works so hard.
Well, there's nothing I can do. After all, with you causing such a scene, I can't stay here anymore.
In front of everyone, I resigned, picked up my bag, and left. Margaret panicked.
Emily, daughter-in-law, don't go.
I ignored her. Last night, I contacted the finance department and found out that Jessica had gone to great lengths to stay by David's side, bringing in a lot of business for the company. Since that's the case, I decided not to divorce. Let the mistress earn money while I spend it, how wonderful. After returning home, I called my parents.
Mom, I'll give you 500,000 yuan a month to cook for me. Dad, you'll get 500,000 yuan a month to drive me around.
I didn't really make them work, it was just a way to give the money a reasonable destination. I also moved all the cash, jewelry, and luxury items at home to my parents' place and destroyed all the receipts. Life went on like this until one day, David wanted to use some money for business but found there wasn't a penny left in the account. He stormed home and threw the bank statements on the coffee table in front of me.
Explain to me where all the money in the account went.
I shifted my gaze from the TV, chewing on grapes.
I paid my parents' salaries. For 500,000 yuan a month, I get the best meals and the safest rides. It's totally worth it.
Worth my butt! What did your parents do to need $1,000,000 yuan? Emily, do you think I'm an idiot? If you want to play this game, fine. Starting tomorrow, my parents will get $1,000,000 a month too.
That won't do. I'm monitoring every penny of your money. If I find any suspicious expenses, I'll post evidence of your affair online. In this digital age, let's see how long your company lasts. You don't want to divorce me because you're afraid I'll take half of the company. If you dare to transfer assets, I'll make you go bankrupt.
Emily, how did you become so vicious?
Vicious? What about your family and Jessica? Are they animals?
He was ruining my mood for watching TV, so I had the bodyguards throw him out. Since I found the surveillance cameras at home, I replaced all the servants. Without my permission, no one could enter. One day, while I was doing a beauty treatment at home, David and Jessica showed up again. As soon as I came out, Jessica smugly touched her belly.
I'm pregnant.
Are you here to find the father? I didn't do anything.
Jessica was at a loss for words.
You're just a hen that can't lay eggs.
You can lay eggs, you lay a whole nest. Even the sound next door doesn't lay as many as you.
Jessica clung to David's arm and whined.
Honey, look at her.
Emily, let's part ways amicably. You can make any demands.
Part ways? No way. These two are my cash cows, my treasures. How could I bear to leave them? I knew why David had changed his mind. The child was one reason, and the other was that Jessica and he were indeed a good match. The company had made a lot of money recently, so from a long-term perspective, divorcing me was the best option. I told him that unless he left with nothing, I wouldn't agree to a divorce. Neither of them agreed, and we parted on bad terms again. I thought things would drag on like this, but the next day, David couldn't help but call me. He asked me to come to the company to discuss the matter, and I agreed. But neither of us was willing to compromise. At that moment, David's secretary came in with 2 cups of coffee. I was quite thirsty, so I drank mine in one gulp. Within seconds, I felt my vision blur. Before I passed out, I saw David's triumphant look. I knew something was wrong. When I woke up, it was already dark. I moved my stiff body and slowly sat up. David saw me awake and threw a stack of photos at me.
Emily, you dared to cheat. What do you think the judge will say when we go to court? Public opinion is not kind to women. If I were you, I'd choose to divorce quietly and not ask for things that don't belong to me. Otherwise, you'll ruin your reputation and bring shame to your parents.
3 days later, when Jessica's mother was cremated, I went to the police station.
Jessica should compensate me with $50,000 for me to agree to reconcile, otherwise, she should stay locked up.
Can we negotiate the amount?
Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know if this money is enough for my recovery.
Seeing I was about to raise the price, Jessica quickly agreed.
Fine, I'll pay. Let's reconcile.
When the money arrived, I agreed to reconcile. Whether it was her money or Robert's didn't matter to me. Because even if it was Robert's, it was his private stash, an unexpected windfall for me.
You'll pay for this.
The next day, Jessica released the car accident video and cried her heart out online.
I was just too sad at the time and accidentally hit her, but she faked illness and got me arrested, and I missed my mother's funeral. It's all my fault. Hit me, I won't fight back, but how can you be so cruel?
3 days later, after Jessica's mother was cremated, I went to the police station.
Jessica should compensate me with $50,000 for me to agree to reconcile. Otherwise, she should stay locked up.
Jessica tried to bargain, but I immediately acted sick.
Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know if this money is enough for my recovery.
Seeing I was about to raise the price, Jessica quickly agreed. When the money arrived, I agreed to reconcile. Whether it was her money or Robert's didn't matter to me. It was an unexpected windfall.
You'll pay for this.
The next day, Jessica released the car accident video and cried her heart out online.
I was just too sad at the time and accidentally hit her, but she faked illness and got me arrested, and I missed my mother's funeral. It's all my fault. Hit me, I won't fight back, but how can you be so cruel?